Ever wonder how to do voice effects like this?
Well, luckily, it's as easy as downloading a software called NOOBSCMDR and connecting it to OBS along with a small plugin called Reaper and another one called WebSockets. Link in the description to those, and while you get them downloaded, I'm going to show you. I wasn't done. Anyway, while you get that downloaded, I'm going to show you my mediocre intro. Now you can go. Thank you. Hey guys, my name is Over, and you can find me occasionally live on Twitch. Link in the description to that as well. I'm a very casual streamer, and I love to be asked tech questions, so don't be afraid to join in. By the end of this, we will get you to sound like just about anything you can set your mind to. The hardest part is getting the sound just right with the effects, but don't worry, using it is seriously easy. By the way, everything I mentioned in this video will be in the description in the order that I mentioned them, so it's easy for following along. There are 4 things you're going to have to install: OBS WebSockets, Reaper plugins, NOOBSCMDR, and HID Macro. The link to all these once again are in the description. For OBS WebSocket, use the installer for Windows. It's the easiest way to do it. And after you have it installed, launch OBS and you will now see a WebSocket server settings under your tool tab. And here you can set a password if you really want to, but this is where your IP and your port is going to be. For the Reaper plugins, all you have to do is download it for your recording software, and I just let it pick the default file path where it wanted to go. I just let it be. I kept it simple and it worked. Now for NOOBSCMDR, you can pick what file path you want it to go to, but it will launch from wherever you install it. So keep that in mind and know where you have it installed. Along with that is HID Macros. Same thing. Pick the file path that you want it to go to. You can even leave this as default along with NOOBSCMDR. Just don't put it in your downloads folder. HID Macros, you're going to have to right click extract all into wherever you want it to go. And a little tip on HID Macro, once you have it installed, right click it and run it as admin, and you only have to do this once. After that, it's good to go. So the first thing we want to do with all this software is not use any of it. Seriously, just right click your mixer and go to advanced audio settings and change your mic to monitor only. Now only do this temporarily or else stream will not hear you. Make sure you set this back when you're done with all of this. After that, right click your mic and go to filters. From there, we just want to add one in. So click the plus, choose VST plugin. Now this VST list is everything that we installed, but the most common one you're likely going to use is the little tiny one there called ReaJS, ReaJS. But all of this is what you will use to make your voice sound the way you want it to. So let's make the deep voice I made in the intro an example, and let's take it one step further. Let's add an echo to it to make it just that much better. Because you can use more than one effect at a time to get a final result of what you want to sound like. First, let's add 2 VSTs. Let's name one deep. I don't know what you want to call it. Call it whatever you want. But do name these. Don't leave them all as VST 1, 2, 3, 4. That's annoying. Naming them doesn't do anything. It just labels it for you. One for the pitch change and one for the echo. Both of these are going to be using that ReaJS part. All you have to do is click that little button below the drop list that says open plugin interface, go to load, and for our effect, let's start with the deep voice part. So let's go to pitch and go to octave down. Now for mine, I didn't mess with any of this. I left it as default and I thought it was sounding pretty decent. So it's up to you. However you want to fine tune this, have at it. All you have to do is repeat that for the echo. Open your plugin interface, load, and this time we're going to go to delay. And we are going to go to the first one that's just delay. Now this one I did have to fine tune a bit to get it where I wanted, but it didn't take all that long to be honest. So tweak with this as you please, and I'm curious about the result. Let me know let me know if you like it in the comments. And speaking of which, if any of this becomes too complicated, you can always ask me questions in my Discord server. Link to that is also in the description. It's in my social section, and I really hope to see you there to really get you through this, because I hope I didn't make this video for nothing. If you can't get it, I will gladly help you. But once we get our voice how we want it to sound, this is where NOOBSCMDR comes in, and it's actually very easy to set up. When you first open it, you're going to have to type in your server IP and your port from your OBS WebSocket window and your password if you set one, and click connect. You do have to have OBS open to do really anything with this software, whether it's add effects, change effects, or even connect to OBS itself. And by the way, one thing I do want to mention is this NOOBSCMDR was created by a Twitch streamer that I really liked and highly respect. His name is Nutty, and that's actually what part of the name is, NOOBSCMDR. It's Nutty's official OBS commander, and I will have a link to his video on this in the description as well, in case you want to watch a second one. So to use NOOBSCMDR, the simple version is everything you want to mess with is on the left side. In our case, we want to mess with a filter, so click filter. One thing that does suck about this is for filters, there's only show and hide. Now my workaround for that, I have a button for each filter I want to use, and I have sort of a master button to turn all of them off. So no matter which one I have on, I can hit the same button to turn every single one of them off. So we're gonna have this show a filter for our mic. Go to whatever you called your mic and go to whatever you called the filter. And that's really all you have to do to add it. Now to add the second one, we can make it slightly easier. If you right click that filter, duplicate, and change the filter to the other one that you set, if you have a second one. Now, if you really want to, you can click test command and see if it activated in OBS. The way you'll know is if the eyeball is not slashed. Now, if it's already shown, then it's not going to do anything because it's already shown. So just manually hide them, click test command, and it should show them. And since we're done with this, what we're going to do is we're going to export it. Now, my thing with NOOBSCMDR is the files that you create from this, you do have to know exactly where they're at, and you can put them anywhere you want. But again, I highly recommend not the downloads folder. For me, I have a specific NOOBSCMDR folder. Specifically for everything that I export from NOOBSCMDR goes in that file, so I know exactly where every single one of them are at. But you can save them however you like. Give it a clear name of what it does. Try to keep it short, but make it as long as you have to, and save, and that's it. Now to hide them, all we have to do is change show to hide, click export, name it as you'd like, and save that. That was it for NOOBSCMDR. I mean, that one's pretty simple, to be honest. That's about the simplest. I highly recommend toying around with it, see what you can do, because it's actually really amazing. So last but not least, this is where HID macros come in. Now this is a software that will let you use a device as a stream deck. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to click new on the top left, give your button a name, click scan, hit the button you want to use for that effect that you named, select run application at the bottom, click the three dots, and go to the file path that you saved that effect that you're trying to do at. Now, two things about this. One, you're going to want to switch the file type to all files rather than applications, or will show nothing. And second, use the VBS. Don't use the bat files. It'll pop up a little command prompt every time. If you want to delete them, you can. It won't affect anything. NOOBSCMDR just creates both every time, just to be sure. Now create a second one the same way to do the opposite of what you did with the first for your on-off. That's it. You are now through and through done setting your very first voice effect. How's it feel? One more thing on HID though. HID doesn't just take like a key and be like, hey, that key does this. No, that's not it. Like in my case, I set the effect that we set up under 3 and period on the number pad specifically on my keyboard. Now if I hit 3 or period on the main part of my keyboard, it will not activate. If I hit 3 or period on my number pad over here, it will not activate. It only works for that exact device that you pressed that button on. That's the amazing thing about HID macro. It detects the exact device that you hit that button on. I've used so many devices on this. I actually have 2 number pads that I use specifically. This one for effects, this one for scenes and other things I want to toggle. I have a little gamepad thing here that I can't really show on cam, but I've used that. I used to use an entire old keyboard and I just did what I wanted with it. I took the keys off, I painted it and labeled it as I needed. It was really cool, and the thing is, it costed me nothing because it was a spare keyboard I used to use. So you can have a Stream Deck for free with all of this. That's the best part. So for an example, I set our effect under 3 and period on this. So if I hit 3, and now I don't. But if I hit 3 way over here, oh, I can. That doesn't turn it on. I don't sound like it, but if I hit this one, I can hit 3 on these all day.
I could be typing wherever that's going, but it's not going to turn it on. So I'm going to do anything. I can even set it on one of these, and it will not trigger on the opposite. That's the incredible thing about HID.
All right, so as it turns out, like I said before, I use those for my actual effects, and it turns out they overlapped. So the end of that, I accidentally turned that effect on from stream. I was wondering why it kept turning on, and I found out why. It's because I kept hitting the button. So as much as I would love to leave my outro in that voice, I'm going to do it in this instead. All right. So if you want to see more ways to use this software, you can check out Nutty's video on this. Link in the description to that, because he absolutely deserves a view for this. Much more than that, but you get my point. You can also join me on live. You can also join me live on Twitch, or even join the Discord if you have any questions on this. I love talking about tech and software, just as I mentioned before, and I love answering questions about it. Either way, hope to see you guys there. Over and out.